Hey, it's Mike Brennan with another segment on MITech TV. And we have another regular on there, Gary Erickson, the managing partner for Executive Search Partners. And I asked him last week to talk about, what the outlook was for hiring and whatnot in 2026, and came back with some really good questions that we're going to fire away at him. Because the economy right now, I don't think anybody has a clue as to what's going on, least of all the people in Washington, D.C. But it's a mess, but that's one of the things he pointed out. So let me talk about this. Last month, we talked about the Michigan economy affecting IT positions for the rest of the year and the next. So, the question is, have you seen any changes since then? And I know your response, but go ahead.
No. You said, have I seen any questions
That I was
since
going to
then?
say
The
that makes for a
answer is,
very short show. So please,
yeah, it
Okay,
does.
next question. No, but the one thing you did say, and we were just talking about before we started, is the economy right now. Oh, I don't know what to make of it, but it's not good. And I get flooded with stuff. I read it all, and some of the economists are speculating about half the states are in recession right now. What do you think?
Yeah, people ask me, especially people are out there looking for a job for whatever reason they lost their job or they're looking for a new one. And I give them, when they say, how's the economy and how's the market for senior IT positions? And I give them a two-word answer. It sucks.
hmm.
Is
And
that a
then we, of
technical term
course,
then? Is that what that is? A
yeah,
technical
very,
term?
very technical. But then we
Okay.
get into reasons why. And it's primarily because from late 2022 onward, we had inflation fears, and then we got a new administration and started putting tariffs on. Now everybody's worried about tariffs. And in fact, I think they've had a significant negative impact on the income, certainly on the hiring outlook. I was talking to the chief financial officer for a $4 billion company 2 days ago, and was asking him about their company's view of what's going on. And he says, we don't know. He said, we can't predict. And because we can't predict, and because all the trending numbers are downward, we're being very cautious in our hiring. So I would say, without having any specific details, that the hiring is down to about 30% of a normal year. Uh, there's something going on somewhere. There's always somebody hiring somewhere. There's some industries who are doing well, but right now it's way down.
Hmm. So for what kind of term is that? Because I was going to ask you what you thought the long-term prospect for IT positions in Michigan is.
Well, I think the long term prospect for IT positions is great, despite the predictions that AI is going to reduce the number of coders, and it's going to take over a lot of jobs. What it's doing is I think enhancing all the jobs and making them more productive. But the pent up demand for automation, the pent up demand for improved linkage between systems, the pent up demand for analytics, the pent up demand for better cybersecurity. Those are all driving increasing demand for IT people. It does affect how people think about their careers and how they plan what they're going to do for the next several years. But I think the demand for Michigan IT positions in the next several years will continue to accelerate.
Well, that's not the case for executive positions. Just I see stories almost every day now where, particularly in the auto industry, they're just laying people off, and these are white collar people, not blue collar people. So I suppose that's obviously if they're laying off white collar people, that doesn't bode well for a search agency like yours, does it?
No, people, if the companies don't have a lot of money to invest in new positions, but they still need them, one of the first places they might want to cut is paying outside recruiters and try and do it themselves. And we've seen that. And the same tools that we use for helping find candidates, which could be using certain tools within Google, but primarily using LinkedIn Professional, are available also to the uh, internal HR recruiters. The only difference we tell people is that it's hard for an internal IT recruiter to understand IT if they've not really recruited for it for the number of years we have. So if you're looking for senior level positions, you should hire an outside recruiter. How's that for a commercial?
That's good. Yeah, we should
Yeah,
cut that part out and put it on your website then. So,
yeah.
Matt.
So what do you see as the impact? You mentioned AI just in passing, but I've seen several people that I know personally use AI to try to write things. And while it may be okay, I can tell it's not their voice. You can tell
Yes.
that they didn't actually write the thing. So what do you think about the impact of AI and other emerging technologies on IT, both short term and long term?
You're not happen to be talking about your show partner, Mike, there using,
No, no, no.
no, no.
Well,
Okay.
I,
All
I, I
right.
have used AI to clean up. I mean, I sometimes I write something and I throw it in there just to see it'll make it better, and it surprisingly does. But I don't do it that often.
Yeah, no, I use AI regularly for helping me write and flesh out something, but then I go back over and look at it, and frequently there's some things in there that are either the wrong tone or the wrong information. So you've got to really focus on cleaning it up. But getting back, Matt, to your question about AI, every IT job out there, and probably every job that anybody is doing, you have to learn the tools in AI. You've got to see where it's going to help you do your job. It's from writing to marketing pitches to presentations to writing code to cleaning up code to planning a systems implementation, right? To looking at data and analytics and tools like that. It's an incredibly powerful tool to help augment your own thinking. It's an incredibly powerful tool to take over some of the manual tasks that you've been doing, and those are the kind of things that have been challenging for people,
Hmm.
One of the
and people should be challenged by and should be learning about.
one of the things I use it for regularly is research. Stuff that would take me hours or a morning, it does in about a minute and a half. Then you have to be careful though. When you have to make sure you look at the sourcing of it, make sure
Yeah.
it's not making stuff up. 2 years ago, when Chat GPT's well, actually like almost 3 years ago now, when Chat GPT started, it was making up a whole bunch of stuff. But it's getting more and more sophisticated. And the spooky thing is, I use multiple AI tools for images or writing or whatever, and they all know me. They researched me. It's like I'm talking to a person. Oh, Mike, well, let me help you with that. That's the little weird part.
Yeah.
But what are you
I've
going to
just recently been trying some of the voice activated AI stuff, and that's actually a lot of fun. I'm still using the writing prompts as my primary focus, but I had an interactive conversation about getting a new computer
Hmm.
with AI, and I thought that was interesting. I'm thinking of this kind of computer with this kind of processor. What do you think? And it came back and gave me some pretty knowledgeable answers.
Oh, well, if AI doesn't know computers, who does, right?
Right.
Mm.
Well, it's all about the data
Yeah,
and
Matt.
the qual-
Final question here. I was just curious what advice you would give an IT professional about how to manage the career, both if they're like mid-career and later, so they don't get left behind.
Well, let's talk about. We were talking about senior level executive positions in Michigan, and let's focus on mainly senior level IT positions initially. Then I'll talk about individual contributors briefly. But you got to. It starts at the top. So who's going to be the most knowledgeable person about AI in a company? It's not going to be the CIO. They don't have enough time to spend on that. Got other things that are the focus. They're going to hire somebody to lead IT who's got some good AI chops. And as Kathleen Norton said in your previous segment, there's a number of AI projects that need rescuing. They've had about a 30% success rate. So they need leadership at the top. So if you don't have strong AI knowledge, information, and chops and projects to demonstrate your success when you're interviewing for a new senior level IT position, you're probably not going to get the job. So AI knowledge, AI success, AI projects, perspective on it, where it works, where it doesn't, is critical in terms of senior IT jobs. Now, getting into individual contributor positions, I'm as we're sitting here, I'm struggling to identify which jobs out there other than manual jobs. Somebody repairing a car, for example. Or although probably there's a lot of AI involved in that now, that's probably a bad thing. But if you got anything that's knowledge based job, you got to know AI. take some courses, learn what prompts are all about, learn which tools you're going to use, and then start thinking about how to apply it to your job. Because if you don't, when you start out there competing against other people in the same job, they're just going to outperform you.
Amen to that. I spent $500 to take a course because I'd been, as Matt knows, we were talking about this. I was resisting it for a while, but now I'm fully on board with it, AI. And the stuff that I read that's going to be the differentiator on who gets the job, like you just said, and who doesn't. People that don't get on board with AI are going to be left behind, whether they like it or not. So,
I've got a very simple example, and I think I've used this in other shows. Imagine you're a financial guy, right? And somebody wants to hire you and they say, "Do you know Excel?" And you say, "No, I don't."
oh, what's that?
I mean, it's real easy. A long time ago, a lot of people didn't know it. They had to get on board. They had to learn VisiCalc and then Excel. Now, you got to be intimate with all the tools and pivot tables and simulations and stuff like that are going on. And now you got to throw in on top of that, because if you use Copilot attached to Excel, it provides you even more capabilities.
Okay. Well, what about the next, I don't know, 6 months or so? What do you see for IT hiring here in Michigan?
Well, I think that what hiring that is going to happen, no matter what position it is going to be AI focused. Number one, cybersecurity focused, data architecture focused, and then maybe some infrastructure like cloud infrastructure. I think the data architecture and AI go hand in hand, because if you don't have good underlying data in your organization, if you don't know where your data is, how it's cleaned up, how it relates to the other data, how you're linking them all together in your company, you're not going to have good AI results. So data architecture and AI, cybersecurity, it still continues to be a hot topic and a hot position these days. On the other hand, still the number of jobs that are open is significantly lower than it would be in normal times.
I totally agree with that.
Okay, thanks very much, Gary Erickson, one of the good guys in the IT business, talking about prospects for senior executive hiring in the IT field. Gary, give them that web address one more time.
If you want to get hold of us, go to www.execsearchpartners.com, and all of our contact information for all the executive search partners is on that website.